Welcome back to Where Mackems Walk, Sunderland and Magic, Burnley. Pretty tragic how you're doing. It's 20 more minutes of Sunderland chat. Looking back on the 3-0 win against what was a pretty dismal Burnley side. What did we learn? And in particular, we've got our AFCON players back. Just how good were they? We've got Charlie, Dylan and Sean fresh back from the Fortress, which is now the stage with like 6 more teams to visit throughout this calendar year, and we'll be undefeated at home. Can we get there? Lots to discuss on this week's episode. The brilliance of Lefay, of course. What happens when Xhaka is fit again? Hume keeping his place. We'll talk about that right-hand side. It produced more goals last night, so is it really that big of a problem? And of course, we're choosing our worst ever Sunderland manager in terms of style of play. We've got A to Z rolling into the letter N, and these three are going to choose their January player of the month. So lots to get into. Let's jump straight into it, shall we, Charlie?
Yeah, that was just brilliant. I mean, after all the flack that our wingers have been getting, especially post West Ham, that was just really nice to see. Because I thought we had a brilliant game overall in general, and just for him to get the goal. It could have been any goal, never mind that. I mean, that was just ridiculous. I couldn't believe what I saw. I just didn't see it coming at all. But yeah, it was brilliant, and it's just a really good way for him to cap off his night after a frustrating month or so for him, really, considering he just didn't get a kick in the whole AFCON as well. So, good on him. Very happy for him.
His best performance in a red and white shirt?
Well, I can't really think of any more that stand out. So, yeah, it probably would be, to be fair. But, yeah, he was very, very, very good. Good on him.
Yeah, we'll come on to Lefay in a second with Sean, but doing that link-up with Lefay and Diarra look quite refreshing. I mean, is it something? It's a stupid question, but it's something you missed. They always seem to looking to go forward, get an understanding of each other now.
Yeah. I mean, you'd imagine so. I think in the past few weeks, Enzo has been fantastic in general, linked up with most of his teammates really well. But I think linking up with Diarra, we'd already seen how he linked up with Mayenda earlier in the season. He's got the ability to make those runs in behind, and sort of they can play off each other. And I think our game's going to be able to elevate now that Diarra is back on the team, because it gives us another ridiculous runner in midfield, but also someone who's very good on the ball to complement Siddiqui, to complement Xhaka when he's back, and obviously to complement the creativity of Enzo Le Fee as well.
Yeah. Let's talk a little bit about the magic of Lefay then, Sean, shall we? Here, this is a tweet from Football and Philosophy. Yeah, he found pockets, effortlessly turned under pressure, connected every phase with calm precision, drove the team forward. There's a purity to his game, clean touches, brave angles, constant availability, and then when Burnley tried to press, he became the escape route. Of course, when they sat deep, he became the unlock. This was a midfielder taking on full responsibility for the tempo, a performance built on clarity, courage, and craft. Love that, such poetry. Do you agree with all the above?
Yeah, he's been unbelievable. It's going to be a massive headache for Reggie Le Bris when everyone's back, even when Xhaka's back. But I think, he's since that Brentford game, he's been a different player. Like, obviously, I know getting to West Ham, everyone was crap. But even other than that Brentford game, like, he's been solid all season, and crazy that we had him in the Championship last season. And I do think he's like our most like technically gifted player. Obviously, we do have like some more like maybe better players like in their own like way, but I think he's almost technically gifted, and some of the things he does are unbelievable. And like it's so hard working as well. You wouldn't expect like a player of his like quality and like to be as hard working as he is, and it's unbelievable.
Is it fair to say, Charlie, maybe his off the ball work, maybe in the Championship and maybe early in the season was slightly suspect? I mean, this one here from Steve says he's effing magnificent on the ball, and now we're noticing he's a bit of a bastard off it. SJC says he ran the show.
Well, I don't know. I think his work rate was kind of never really questioned. He was always a bit of a grafter. I think that's kind of why Le Bris likes him so much. Aside from all the off the pitch stuff as well, he's always worked his bollocks off. But I mean, last night I think he kind of really stepped up into like Xhaka's role last night. It was what was the big miss against West Ham? They didn't have anyone to settle them and such, and he like that tweet said, he just really stepped up. I thought he was comfortably the man of the match for me. I thought it was absolutely unbelievable. I went on on FPL and he had like 20 defensive contributions in that game. That's good going, that. So yeah, he was just superb. And yeah, I think he's getting better and better week on week. And like Sean said, how on earth we had him last season, I'd never know. Just a brilliant footballer.
Let's take some more social media takes then, shall we? Johnny says, some of the best football, Dylan, I've seen all season by any Premier League team. Absolutely brilliant. Well done to the lads. They were awesome. So proud of each and every single one of them. Absolutely brilliant. How much, Dylan, do we need to just recognise how bad Burnley were before we get away with just how great Sunderland were?
Right. Burnley in that game were an absolute disgrace. But this is one of the very few games where we've played an opposition who's played poor, and it hasn't actually made us look better than we were, because we were, regardless of how bad they were, we did not put a foot wrong pretty much all game, other than the odd loose ball in terms of the pressing, the one-on-one duels, the tackling, the aggression to win the ball back. We were absolutely better man for man all over the pitch. But yeah, Burnley did absolutely honk, and I've seen some very justified crash outs by some of their fans on Twitter over the last day or so. Need to get that Scott Parker pedalled, like, don't they? But well, it's too late now because they're going down. But they should have done it a couple of months ago, and they might have had a chance, because some of the players are very hard working, and they do have quality in areas. They could have probably done with adding a bit more quality in the window just gone than they have done. But yeah, regardless of how bad they were, I don't think that actually impacted how good we were. I think we could have beat them if they were top of their game. If they played the way they did in the opening game, the first game when we played them at home and they beat us, we would have beat them if we played the way we did yesterday. If that makes sense.
Cool. Right, let's have an open discussion then, shall we? Because there's one conversation that's dividing opinion, I think, between the Sunderland fan base, and that is around when Xhaka returns. Sean, if you can kick off this conversation, then the rest of you kind of join in. What happens for you? Essentially, Hume gets dropped and Diarra moves into the half winger role that Hume's been doing. But does Reggie have a bit of a headache now based on yesterday's game?
Yeah. Once Xhaka's back, obviously, sadly, Hume would have to be dropped, I think, in my opinion. But then we've even got Traore coming back soon, who was obviously our starting winger before that. So it's a good problem to have, but obviously Xhaka is going to get back into the team. So yeah, I think it's going to have to be Hume for now, and then maybe Lefay, but we don't know. I don't really know. Luckily it's not up to me.
Jump in, fellas.
Go on, Charlie.
Yeah, it is a tough one. I mean, like John says, Xhaka is going to play when he's fit. That's just fact. And I get the feeling they're going to end up in the hole, or they're going to have to shove Lefay out wide again, which I really don't want to do, because I just don't think he's very good there. If nothing else, he's just completely wasted. Then I think Traore coming back's a massive headache, because I actually thought he was really good before he got his injury. When AFCON then got injured, he's been a particularly surprising signing, to be honest. I don't know why we even bothered signing him, but I've been proven wrong. And then the other new winger that was signed, suddenly they've just got loads of different options. And then Diarra stepping up. Yeah, it's quite the headache. It's just gonna get worse, but that's not a bad thing. It gives us plenty of options, and we can go at different teams in different ways. So yeah, I'm not envious of Reggie, but let's just say.
Go on, Dylan. I mean, I've read some tweets that says Hume should not be dropped. He's too valuable to this team.
Right, I'm going to get onto Hume in a minute. In terms of what to do with the midfield, obviously Xhaka definitely does come in, and then it depends what we want to do. Like, Diarra did look like he could play on the right, but if you want to use your genuine out and out wingers, which I don't see why we wouldn't want to, on the wings, then for me it's a case of Xhaka takes that holding role, and then whichever two out of the three of Enzo, Siddiqui, and Diarra are playing the best, they have the two midfield spots, and it's up to the other one to work the way back in the team. I'm in two minds with Trey Hume, because I understand on paper, logically, he is probably the person who has to drop out. But what I will say is some of the things I've seen said about him over the past few weeks I don't know what planet people are living on. Yes, he had a poor game against West Ham, but people are saying, oh, he should never play anywhere midfield again. This experiment's gone wrong. I was forgetting the Liverpool game when he played on the wide right and was absolutely fantastic. I was forgetting the games where he's played on the right and done well. Yes, he had a poor game against West Ham, but I think this is something that's got a bit out of hand over the past week or so. And I think another contributor was the whole crap with Gay Trowder potentially leaving for Liverpool. You had people then on Twitter going, oh, I can't believe he wasn't starting every game ahead of Trey Hume. Trey Hume's started pretty much every game this season because he's done what has been asked of him and he deserves to be starting the games. If he has to drop out because we've added so much quality, then yeah, that you can't, then that's absolutely fine. But for people to even be insinuating that he doesn't deserve to start on merit, like some of our fans have done, I don't know what they've been watching. Trey Hume's one of our more important players and he's put a couple of feet wrong over his whole time at Sunderland, but he's put a lot more right, and I think he's been massively disrespected over the past couple of weeks.
Yeah, you agree with that, Sean?
There's a reason why he was given the armband. Like he's been trusted by Le Fee to literally lead the team out. Yeah, it was all a bit bizarre how people think he was just championship at best because he had one bad game, or whatever. That's our reactionary fan base.
You just need to score. He's had loads of chances. Oh, he needs to score, this man.
Oh, that
Every
one that
game
filled with yesterday.
Well, hopefully it's in the next home game, and that's where I just want to switch attention to for a second, because like we said, you're the only undefeated now team in the Premier League, and there's not many across Europe actually. 6 more opponents. Excuse me, Charlie. That lot: Fulham, Brighton, Spurs, Forest, and of course United. The last day of the season.
Have we not got Chelsea as well? Sorry.
Oh, Chelsea as well. Sorry, I missed off the Chelsea as well. Sorry, I missed it off. 7 to go. Can you do it, Charlie?
I mean, we drew with Manchester City and Arsenal and Villa, but I don't really count Villa because at the time they were absolutely guff. But whatever. I mean, Liverpool, you never know what you're going to get at the minute. I mean, Brighton, you never know what you're going to get, but that's a bit different to Liverpool. Forest, I mean, I'd back where Fulham, I'd probably back where Spurs. I mean, Christ, Spurs in the league, I'd back anyone to beat them. And then Manchester United, Michael Carrick's turned up and all of a sudden he's a god again, but I'm not getting into Michael Carrick and my opinions on him as a manager. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, but purely on the basis that we've drew to the top 3 at home and in all 3 could have won probably, and we've really gave them a game. I mean, why not? I don't think we will, if I'm being honest. But why couldn't we? Like, we've shown across the first how many home games we had? 12 is that? Like that we can go up against anyone. So why not? It's good. Let's try and do it. We failed last year, so let's try again.
Good. Since we last spoke to you, of course, the transfer window has slammed shut. I just want to get your opinion on a couple of ins and outs, if that's all right. Starting with this one, Sean. Nearly 12 million for another winger, as if you didn't need any more. What do you know about Angulu?
I know Diddle knows more about him than I do, but I knew we needed a replacement. When we saw the thing about when the news came out that thing was moving, I knew that would need a replacement in, and obviously that came about an hour later. So expected that because I knew we wouldn't let go of the thing without getting a replacement in. I'd let Dylan explain a bit more.
Okay. Cheers.
From what we know, he can play both sides. He's young, he's energetic, he's skillful. He's been getting absolutely praised to high heavens by the Anderlecht fans over the past sort of day or so on Twitter. I did have a quick look at his stats in the Belgian League this season. He's got 11 goals and assists in 22 games, so he's averaging obviously a goal contribution every 2 games, which even if you can replicate half of that in the Premier League, he's going to be chipping in a lot more than some of our wingers have done if he can hit the ground running. But yeah, I think it was Keith Downey said that we believed that we were signing the best winger in the Belgian league. So if that turns out to be true, and he's anywhere near as good as his mate Nosworthy, I think we're in for a very exciting signing. Obviously, it's basically going to be a matter of whichever wingers are playing the best are going to get games. I'm still really interested to see what happens when Jocelyn Tarbee comes back as well, because I feel like that's one of them where we could either not see him regularly until 2 years' time, or he could be a starter within 10 weeks. It just depends how he gets on when he gets here. I know they've said that he's he's a very unique profile of winger and someone very direct, and we have lacked a bit of directness on the wings at times. But yeah, I mean, with all we can ask is that they do their best to hit the ground running, and I'm sure whoever's starting will be getting the business done towards the end of the season.
Just staying on Endringer then, joined Monaco on loan. They have the option to buy there, Sean, at the end of the year as well. I mean, is it fair to say of all the good summer business you did, maybe this one is the one? Was it 20 million, 21 million from Brighton? Is this one we can look at and go, okay, we got this one wrong?
Yeah, and basically got the money back if obviously they take the option. Is it an option or is it an obligation? You say option there.
Option, it's still BBC.
Yeah. So and I think the loan fee as well, like a couple million. So would basically get the money back. Obviously I hope he does well. And also Masawaka leaving as well. So like basically our only negatives in this summer transfer window are already gone, which is normally in past years would take a while to get rid of the players who haven't worked out. So it's I'm happy with the January window overall, and hopefully Adingra, if he does come back next season, hopefully he can improve.
Charlie, I've pulled all your legs on here a little bit about the number of players that got you to the Premier League. Now not being anywhere near the squad, we've now sent another 2 of those stars to Millwall yesterday or last week. We've got, of course, the man who scored the goal to take you to the Premier League, now in a Millwall shirt, and maybe one that some might disagree with. I'm not sure. Andy Patterson has joined Millwall on loan as well. Thoughts on this one or these 2?
That's a good move for both of them. Good move for Watson to go get some, real. Because I mean, even for us, he was a really regular starter until the end of the year, and that was just because they were using him to basically manage the squad for us.
Yeah.
Patterson back with Alex Neil, who gave him the number 1 shirt for us. It's perfect for them. The Millwall, am I right to say Millwall are 5th? I think in the Championship, 5th or 4th, something like that. They're up there. Yeah, I think that's a perfect move for them, really.
Why do you think it hasn't worked out for Watson? Why hasn't Watson worked out at Brighton? Do you think? I mean, is he not a Premier League player for you?
I think it's harsh to say it hasn't worked out for him. He's not a Premier League player yet. But like I've seen loads of people on Twitter when the Millwall move got announced, going like, "Well, the grass isn't always greener and all that." He'd be nowhere near our first team. Like, what's the difference? He's gone to Brighton, who are like gods at bringing through young players. He's featured a bit in the first team this year, not those, but he's still just a kid. Like, I think he'll be quite content. He's ended up with a Championship side pushing for playoffs, and maybe starting most weeks, I think. And that's perfect for him.
Okay. It's strengthened Millwall and the 2 positions which they needed, and they're probably going to be quite a force now with Patterson, the one position they needed. Brilliant. Yeah. Any other transfer news that didn't happen that you thought might have? Anyone?
I don't know. There wasn't really much going on with us.
No.
I mean, there was the whole Getrauda thing, but that was done before deadline day. So
I think anything else happening would have relied on other players that we already have getting sold. Obviously, nobody moved. There was rumours around a few that nothing came of. I just think it's worth pointing out that I think with a lot of the permanent moves and the loans that have gone out in this window, I think they've really started to set the foundations well to go again in the summer, which, if what's been getting reported true, that's what we're looking to do. Obviously, you've got Roberts, Matete, Joe Anderson all going. They're all players that were never going to play for us in the here and now. And also, there's the potential that they probably had wage increases in their contracts when we came to the Premier League, so they're out the door. The loans that have gone out, the likes of obviously Neil, that'll take him to the end of his contract, so he'll be off the wage books next season. Masawatu, you would imagine, will just get rid of him in the summer. But then the likes of like Hjelde and Elise, if they can do well in the Championship, they'll probably find themselves a permanent move at that level in the summer. And that'll just give us more leg room to sort of do what we need to do. Same with Alshish moving on to Schalke permanently. That's another set of wages off the books, and he probably also had a wage increase. I would imagine most of the players did when we got promoted.
Arsenal next, and Sean, this weekend. It's a free hit, this one.
Yeah, I think forfeit all away games. Just play at home.
Yep. Don't know if I fancy watching that one.
Would have been
I
good
mean,
if they were still unbeaten at home. We could have ruined that record, but no, just don't know what I expect really.
Yeah. I mean, at the risk of bringing this conversation up yet again, I mean, when you look at that table, Charlie, now, I mean, are we still happy to finish 10th? If I finish 10th now, is that still a good season based on the cluster of teams and where you are?
Of course it is, man. I mean, even as someone who's been the whole 40 points thing, even I am kind of thinking, oh, well, we could just, nick a Conference League place. That would be class, that. But, mid-table is, at the end of the day, considering how poorly everyone who's came up recently has done, mid-table is just brilliant. And it's a real platform for us to keep going on. So, yeah. There'll be some negative Nancy's who'll start kicking off that we're doing, getting a year. I'm like, oh, yeah, man. We thought we were going to get 10 points back in May, man. Like, just relax.
Right. Dylan, do you want to argue with Charlie here on that point or not?
Not necessarily argue, but as much, again, it's like, yes, I'd be happy if we finish 14th still, never mind 10th. But where we are, the games we've got left, we should absolutely go for it. As for Arsenal on Saturday, obviously, yeah, it's a bit of a free hit. But then when you analyse it, Saka's out. The last time we played them, Dan Ballard kept all their set piece threats quiet. There's no reason why we can't go there and try and go toe to toe with them. Even getting a point from that would be fantastic. But we've seen stranger things happen. Look at Chelsea away. Obviously, I know Arsenal are a better team than Chelsea, but at Liverpool we nearly nicked that as well at Anfield. I don't see why we can't go and try and go toe to toe with them. A win there, if we did somehow manage to pull it off, and then you really start going, right, this could be on here. But yeah, no matter what, we've got to be happy. But we can certainly be happier the higher we finish. And I don't see why we shouldn't be aiming to try and nab maybe even just a Conference League spot. I would imagine the usual suspects are going to win the Cups, and that would knock the places down to maybe 8th. Why can't we finish 8th? We've been up and around these positions for the entire season, and I don't see why we're all of a sudden going to falter now.
Okay. Join us next week as we review that Arsenal game and look ahead to the FA Cup game, of course, that's coming up in the 4th round. If you were with us last week, you'll know that we were talking about the best ever Sunderland managers. We'll get these three to name their worst ever in a second. First off, it's January's over, so we need the player of the month for January, please, off each of you. I know it might be quite tricky to single out one, but tough. Sean, who gets yours?
I'll go Enzo, mainly just because of the way bounced back from the Brentford game as well. But even at the start of the month, with City, and yeah, he was solid against City, so I'll go Enzo.
All right, Charlie.
I want to say Robbie. I think he's just getting better and better. There was a couple of games when he was a bit quiet, but in general, I think he's just been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah. And Dylan complete that hat trick.
Well, I mean, it depends how you want to do it. If you want to do it in terms of productivity, it is Enzo. If you want to do it in terms of work rate, it's Robbie. If you want to do it in terms of sheer entertainment factor, it's Omar Alderete. From squaring up to West Ham's defenders while the ball was still in play, hitting the crossbar, to pulling off about 72 different Cruyff turns last night. He's just an absolute magician. And he's every time he gets the ball, I'm just like, oh, fantastic. So I'll say Omar Alderete, purely because he's just fantastic to watch when he's on the ball.
Yeah. Speaking of squaring up, there's a bit of an incident last night, wasn't there, with your mating goal? Was he getting quite a bit of stick, Charlie, from that end? Or from all sides of the ground?
Yeah, he was. I mean, the second half, he definitely was. I still don't even know why he kicked off. I mean, Trey Hume's not adverse to leaving one on someone, but on this occasion, he did not leave anything on him. He actively stopped himself, and Dubravka just went absolutely off it. They probably saw red. It was mental, and all that did was made all of our players lock in, because at the start of the second half, it was just like, oh, well, we'll just, knock it around and not really, because he's not going to tackle there. And then they were like, all right, well, then. If he's want to fight, we'll give you a fight, and went flying in all of a sudden. So, yeah, it was a bit mental.
Yeah, it was like the roof sort of went off after that. I mean, like, the first 2 goals, obviously, like we celebrated and we were delighted, but it was a game that on paper you should be hoping to win. So it was like your standard Monday night atmosphere. When Talby's rocket goes in, if there was a roof, it would have come off. And then, funnily enough, Dubravka's head loss got the biggest reaction of the night. The siege mentality that we thrive so well under at the stadium, like, truly took effect. And from that point on, even if we'd already been 1-0 up, I would have been like, right, well, they're not to go on, because they were just absolutely bricking it from that point onwards, more so than they already had been throughout the rest of the match. Dubravka, every time he got the ball, was just like toe poking it to one of his fullbacks at the earliest opportunity every time he got the ball, because he did not want to be on it from that kickoff, because our fans were just hounding him.
Brilliant. One of the best stadiums, of course, when the crowd is up. Fantastic. And finally, on Monday night games, we've watched a lot of empty seats on Monday night games, and great to see full stadium again. No, obviously not at the Burnley end, but proper fans, proper stadium. If you haven't yet followed us or subscribed yet, then where have you been? Drop us a hit on that subscribe button and let us know your comments below on the next couple of topics, please. We'll like reading these, and we'll read some of these out next week. Worst ever Sunderland manager, please. Not in terms of the results, not in terms of sending you down or anything, but in terms of the style of football that you had to endure. I know there's probably a list here, but who wins it for you, please, Sean?
Well, in my lifetime, Michael Beale. I was at Birmingham away as well when he blanked Hume, Dre Hume, and that was just obviously that was his last game, but that was just like the tip of it, like, because Jesus, and then it came out of his burner account on Twitter and stuff. But yeah, it was awful football, and he just was awful, and I thought he was just awful as I don't know how to describe it really, but it didn't seem like you wanted to be here from the start. I know we didn't give him the best reception and stuff, but yeah, that was just an awful time.
Yeah, he didn't connect with the fans at all, did he? I suppose that FA Cup derby didn't help him, but
no.
Dylan?
It's a bit strange, because at the time I did quite like him, but I feel inclined to say Jack Ross, purely because obviously it was 16 1-1 draws that season, and when I think back to the playoff final against Charlton, when they scored that own goal 4 minutes in, I genuinely turned to my mate and said, we're now going to lose this game, because we're going to sit back and try and stay out that for the 90 minutes, 86 minutes that we started to play. And upon reflection, you shouldn't have to feel like that in a playoff final. So I'm going to say Jarros. And of course, he's now with them lot up the road, is doing whatever he's doing. So I can slander him now.
Yeah. Good shout. Charlie, can you beat those two?
Well, I mean, style of play, I was going to say Jack Ross as well, and ironically, I also quite like Jack Ross, but I mean, at the end of the day, his game plan was give it to McGeady, hope he scores, and then sit back. When that team should never have had, that team should have been up easily, but whatever. I think I'm gonna go Phil Parkinson though, and I cannot believe that he's doing so well with Wrexham. I know I've spent so much money, but still, it blows my mind, but whatever. I just never got on board with him, and his style of play was just honking. So I'll stick with Party.
If they managed to get promoted, processing the fact that Phil Parkinson's a Premier League manager, I think it would genuinely give me some sort of aneurysm.
And George Dobson would be a Premier League midfielder.
Yeah, probably not for very long, but yeah.
Oh, I don't know. He's the man at the minute. He's playing really well. I don't know how he's playing really well, but he is. Yeah, ridiculous.
Yeah, they're one of the most entertaining teams to watch in the Championship.
I know.
Going on. It's incredible.
They've just signed Davis Keillor-Dunn, who's a Sunderland lad. So if he fancies firing them into promotion, then maybe I'll be a bit happier about it, because always nice to see one of our lot do well.
Excuse me. And finally, then this week we're up to the. By the way, let us know in the comments. Sorry, your wisdom, especially if you're an older Sunderland fan. We love hearing from yesteryear, and maybe you can teach these three young'uns a thing or two about bad managers. Right, we looked at A to Z then. One player per letter of the alphabet that has shone above all others. This week we're on to letter N for November. This has proved a tricky letter across the network for some teams. Not sure if it's going to prove any difficulties for you three. Anybody?
Nyron Nosworthy. most
Oh,
fans
double, double N.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good shout, actually.
That's a really good
I
show.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other mentions?
Or Dan Neil. I just didn't even think about that.
Yeah. Well, I was going to say the other
Premier
Neil.
League. I believe I didn't think of that.
I nearly said the other Neil, but because he hampered his reputation so badly, he just can't possibly go in. So, as in Alex Neil, I loved him for such a short period of time, and I've hated him ever since.
Okay.
Yeah,
anything else?
I'd go Nyron Nosworthy. I think that's for our shows. Not just because of double N, but
I don't have anything, mate.
Okay, right.
No, hey, no, do you know what it is? That, like, as much as Nyron Nosworthy, that's like a hilarious shout, but can it not give it to Dan Neil?
he won't
Like,
play with
I was gonna say,
yeah, it's going to Dan Neil. I'm making the executive decision here, boys.
Right, fine.
Yeah, I was going to jump in and just say I think Neil probably has,
Yeah, probably.
red and white going through them. Brilliant. Right, now they're going to run into a bit of a brick wall next week, so help them out in the comments with this, please. We get to letter O. Now, they might already think of a couple already, but there's not money to choose from, so can you help them out by thinking of an overhead kick? Because we're going to let them put any player who scored a magnificent overhead kick into the A to Z if they are struggling next week. So let us know for your most memorable bicycle kicks in the comments. We'll read some of these out there so we can put this on the screen, just in case that we can't get these three and Leo and Jamie, who are off this week, to fill in the gap for the letter O. Right, thank you very much, you three. Just a quick aside, Ipswich fans, nothing to do with Sunderland, Ipswich fans are having a go at Jack Clark at the moment. I just wanted to get your quick view on him, saying that, he's not doing enough, he's lazy, he's not producing enough for Ipswich. Did you ever see that side of him when he was in red and white?
He's always out there. So.
Yeah.
Or just let him off.
He wasn't the best defensively, but he definitely wasn't the worst. He was always there. And I thought he'd step it up again for every time I seem to see Ipswich's games. He seems to score at the minute.
He's got like 12 goals or something.
I know,
How can he be
winning?
He's a second top scorer in the league.
Have they started playing him in his right position yet?
Yeah.
Well, they must have done.
Yeah, there's a stat out for everyone. For everyone he scores, he's missing a lot as well. Though he's coming off the bench mostly to score those as well. So
the only thing when it took him a while to get going. The only thing he was guilty of at Sunderland was probably being a bit of a one-trick pony. However, he benefited from the fact that he was so good at that one trick that they couldn't stop it, even though they knew what was coming. But again, that's another player. I've seen some outrageous shouts. Obviously, our wingers haven't been fantastic at times this season, and I've genuinely seen people saying, "Oh, imagine if we'd kept Jack Clark." Jack Clark would be absolutely nowhere near our side now, even if he was still here. He would have been loaned out or flogged, or he'd be behind Romain Mundle in the pecking order, because there's a reason he's still in the Championship. I'm sorry. I do like Jack Clark, but anybody who thinks that he'd be starting our team now, and I've seen a few people say it, must be on spice. Like, sorry.
Yeah, he's getting a lot of pelters from Ipswich fans at the moment. So you're watching this, Jack. Yeah, still with you, man. Right. Thanks so much, you three. Enjoy the Arsenal game if you can. Hopefully it's not a bloodbath like the Leeds one was recently for Leeds fans, and we'll catch you next week. Thanks so much for watching, and drop us a sub if you haven't yet done so already. Have a great week.